Hello, my name is DC. I'll be giving a match analysis for Zambia versus South Africa in the Under-17 COSAFA qualifiers. All right, so this was basically a thrashing from South Africa, and we're going to go through not only the goals, but since this is an Under-17 tournament, I have some other particular moments in the match I want to go through because why not? You see some of the mistakes that you made. You see some of the mistakes that were made. Mainly due to age, and they're getting experience. And then there's just some other parts I just want to explain more on certain things. Otherwise, this is what leads to the first goal, right? All right. So South Africa has the ball at this point. Do you notice anything? You don't, right? Oh, you do because you watch my channel on a regular basis. You have a man that has all the time in the world. I think they're trying to stay back a bit. Probably not trying to overcommit, but in a few frames, you see something very funny. He drops the ball, nothing. You see, he's even telling his teammate, you can come back. There's no need for that. There's no need for that. But now, one thing about South Africans is that they always have flair. Their footballers have flair. It's one of their concepts. You have to entertain the ground. I know Brighton does this, but when these guys, they are known for embarrassing people. So he plays it here, right? Now this is what I want you to see. You saw that point. You see how many players were there at that point in time? There were maybe like three, maybe four. If you count the person that was out of frame. But now look at this. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are beyond or near the touchline. Is this a problem? For me, definitely yes. Because what it is that you have 6 players here, but none of them pressured the ball. Someone say no, they did. Here's the thing: if one thing you have to do in football is commit to something, and in the next frame, I'll show you because that guy had way too much time to even stand on the ball. I know he was inviting pressure, and then he passes it to him. Who even him he had quite the time to do what he wanted. And then the reason why I'm going to point this out is in the next clip here. This is what you don't want. So you had 6 players that were in and around the 18-yard box, right? And then you have the rest of the defense who is so far away. So this is what I'm saying. If you want to do something, you commit to it because look at all that space. And then to make matters worse, if you have 6 players committed there, okay, let me just make a few illustrations before I move any further. All right, so if you want to drop back, the whole team has to drop back. So if you decide, you know what, we let them off the ball, let's just have a low line, let's just have a very deep, deep lying team. So you have your defense. Let's say that's a goalkeeper. So the defense, let's just say 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, it's not drawn to proportion, but I'm just trying to make a point. Then you have let's say it's a midfield 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you have your strikers or attackers. And then let's just assume this is the halfway line, right? Yeah, so this is the halfway line. So you want everyone to be in a, you want everyone to be close to each other. Or if you decide, you know what, we're going to high press once again for illustration purposes, halfway line. 1, 2, 3 attackers. 1, 2, 3 midfielders. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's for the high line. So the reason why you want to have everything set is because if you're playing a high line, it means that these defenders will be higher up, and so which means it will be easier for the attackers to put pressure. Because the reason why you play a high line is to force the opponents to make a mistake or get the ball from them very quickly and very aggressively. So that's the purpose of having a high line. So it's very bad when you have 6 players that are playing a high line, as was shown there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 players a high line, and then you have the rest of the back 4 without cover or without any pressure being applied to stop any long balls being played. So that's what leads to this goal. And then if we play it further, one long ball causes all these problems. And that's the problem when you, let's say, for example, you have a group of, how can I say, you have a certain number of players that are near the halfway line or near the opponent's, you know what I mean, close to the opponent, but they don't want to press. And then you have a gigantic gap. Then you have you are very susceptible to this long balls, and this is just way too easy a goal to concede. It's a good touch, and it's a good goal. Not much the keeper could do, but this is it's not necessarily that they play that this was like a great ball. It was just a system problem. You have four defenders on their own, and then you have six separate players on their own. I don't know if it's a coaching thing or maybe the coach wanted them to play a certain way. Maybe the defenders were like, no, we'll step back a bit. But under 17 game, you do see this in senior games, but the reason why it happens here, it could be for so many different reasons. All right, let's head on to the next chance. It's somewhere along, yeah, somewhere here. All right, so let me just play it a few frames back. All right, so here he gets the ball, kicks it, immediately loses the ball. What do we notice here? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I understand that the ball was played. So he was, I don't know, maybe they were pressing or something, but the ball was played in the assumption that it reached someone. And then you have four South African players here, right? And similar problem, but how South Africa deals with it is no, how the ball is played is different because he plays it on the ground, not really looking to take it, up. That's lovely, even though the South African could have done better, but that's a nice piece of skill from the Zambian player, I'm not going to lie. And at least they're nearer the two supposed midfielders, I'm assuming. Now here, long ball is played, right? And yeah, the South Africans, are similar, but they had less men. They had four. The Zambians had six. So in that assumption, let's just say you see the four players that the South Africans had up front, and the Zambians had six. So in that six, you can include a few. You can include the whole midfield, or maybe two midfielders if it's a four in attack. But for them, they had four players, and then you see they had these two as cover. So that's just the difference in numbers. The numbers game, how different it can be. Just because of two men, it's either it can be the difference between having cover and having no cover. Might seem obvious, but I was told I have to explain things thoroughly. Here, one thing I do like is the defense here. Because immediately as the player receives the ball, yeah, it's a nice clip ball. Yeah, he does have to turn. But number 19, I'm assuming he's a defender. What I like is how he stays close to his man. Yeah, the Zambian does try to do something. He pushes it, but at that point, number 19, he got this. Allows the Zambian player to take a touch so that when it comes out, it's a corner. Sorry, not a corner, but a goal kick for his team. Boom. That's really good defending. He immediately applied pressure. He was what he did do, prevent any chance for a cross. He made sure he forced him one way, and eventually took charge by not really impeding him, but just getting using his body well. Good on him for that piece of defense, because not only do we analyze goals, we also do appreciate good moments of defending. Feels like a lost art. Sorry. Okay, so this is another piece of play that I'd like to highlight because of how well they hold the ball up. So this one is a bit cheeky, though, I'm not going to lie. He has the ball, right? This is the Zambian player is coming. Look at what he does. Hey, the South Africans, they have to entertain. Yeah, I know that you may say, it's not really a skill, but that's good initiative, I'm not going to lie. And, just like that. And that's how he frees him. He saw there was pressure. He took the ball up where no one could get it, not even him, and waited for it to come down, and then just like that. But what next here is okay. Here, what I'm gonna try to say is the Zambians were trying to press, but it didn't go to us. So you can see that they're trying to get the ball back, but I don't think they're used to getting it in a cohesive unit. Yes, one player can run to get the ball, the other one can go, but sometimes you need to force the play. By force the play, maybe he forces the ball here, he goes a few steps back so that as soon as he tries to force a pass, he's there to intercept the ball. But look at how they try to get the ball back. So already here, yeah, he blocks out the pass. He does well. And then he sees that, oh, okay, yeah, he can't play the ball here. He asks for the ball to go this way. So at this point, these two, they've done well because they forced the play to the other side, which is wide. Oh, sorry, it's completely someone else that was out of frame. My apologies. Anyway, it goes to him, right? So at this point, how many Zambian players can you see? 5 and 6 there. He's just within the frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At this point, he's supposed to be immediately putting pressure. he is supposed to be immediately putting pressure because this is the best case scenario you have. Instead, he looks at him because at that point, you're supposed, whether he gets past you or not, that doesn't matter. What matters is that pressure is applied. So he gives him time to think, and then they're able to play through. And then what I like is how everyone is so composed with the ball, and just like that, all pressure is relieved because they took the ball near the halfway line. I know I'm exaggerating a bit; it wasn't exactly there, but somewhere there. And then they played it around a bit, and then just like that, they forced the Zambians back. And now, where there were so many Zambian players looking to pressure the ball, they now have time to play the ball. Yeah, but the Zambian player there, that was the perfect chance to put pressure. Whether he got past him or not, you just have to force things there. And just like that, all pressure is gone. And this is why some teams they prefer to recycle the ball rather than just rushing to go and attack. You know what? Let's play, and then we'll see what happens next. And in this case, they did very, very well. Yeah, the Zambian player does get it, but he just kicks it out. Yeah, he even apologizes. Good awareness. Yeah, he doesn't get the ball, but at least he prevents it from. Because what you don't want is where you constantly allow them to play the pass. They start entering flow states, and then that's where you have that Barcelona thing happening up by they are passing even within your own box. All right, let's head on to the next goal. Somewhere here, right? Okay, just a few. Yeah, should be somewhere. All right, here. Boys played up top again. Now here, this is another one. Okay, he plays the ball, right? So at this point here, I understand they are very, very far away from goal. And I understand why number 19 doesn't immediately go to pressure him because you know what? If you look at here, you see you got 1, 2, 3. And now you see number 7. Let's just take highlight of him. You have seen what number 7 is? Yes. So, okay, we have numbers, but at this point, he should pressure the ball. Because look, the ball is in the air. That's where he can immediately go just to prevent the cross. And I'm sure he's going to. Anyway, I'm sure he'll be doing this more because of the chance that arises from this. I understand why he doesn't do it, but he's just supposed to do it. Just don't allow crosses anyhow, especially if it's within an angle whereby it can be put directly in the box. For some crosses, they're much more difficult, and especially if it's an in-swing or out-swinger, may not favor the particular setup that's in the box. By setup, I mean the players and how they may angle themselves to head it. Now look at this here. He has time to trap, puts the ball down, takes a touch, looks up. Number 19 gave this player way too much space because if you're serious, you could have cut that out immediately. And then this is a lovely cross because look at how quick it goes. Remember number 7 that we highlighted? He was behind number 3 and now look where he is right now. And number 3 probably let him go thinking, you know what? He's very far away from going, nothing will happen. This is why you always have to be switched on. And he misses. That one, what matters most is getting it on target. It's one thing if you miss, it's another thing if you don't force the keeper to make a save. Because you at least have to test the keeper. Always make sure it's on target because you can have the best finesse, but if it's not on target, nope. Because sometimes keeper may mishandle it on goals, other stuff like that happens. Anyway, let's head on to the next chance / goal / penalty. Somewhere here, boom boom. All right. Zambia has the ball here. He plays. Okay, this is a lovely. This is lovely. He fakes as if he's going to cross it, and they apply pressure when in the other system in the other instance that's where pressure was supposed to be applied. Because okay, I understand what he's doing, but it's funny because when that guy was when that Zambian player was close to the ball, he wasn't pressured. But I think that just said something because he's immediately going to pressure. All right, so yeah, he gets past him right now. This little part there, you see that? You see where he plays the ball? I think that's an experience. Okay, I'm gonna say it's an experience thing because look, does well here. And now look at his teammate. His Zambian teammate is in a perfect position because the South African player is facing this way. The Zambian player has already turned his body and is starting to sprint. He's going this way. So the best thing to do would be to play a straight ball. Or if you want, you play it to him and then he lays it off to the player that's running here. And then just like that, you keep the ball moving. But now what he does, I think it's an experience thing personally. Look at how he plays that ball. He plays it the wrong way. He tries to, make that pass there. He didn't need to give it exactly to where he was. He could have played it into space and he would have had a better chance to run on it and do something with the ball. And unfortunately, him dispossessing the ball there leads to a chance being created. He gets it. He gets it, right? He plays a lovely ball. That's what that's what the Zambian player was supposed to do, because even he could have made the same mistake by playing it like that. But instead, no, he plays it forward, a straight ball. And then now what happens next? He runs towards it, At this point, just shoulder to shoulder, escort him. There's no need to be rash, and he does end up doing something rash. And it's called for a penalty. The linesman saw it, the referee saw it. He's trying to plead not guilty, but he knows. He definitely knows. He knows. So this is where the challenge. But all right, so it's something that I think he does get contact on his ankle. I don't know if it's a foot, ankle. He gets contact, and it's in the box. It's obvious, but there should have just kept shoulder to shoulder, so as to avoid unnecessary problems. Yeah, he definitely got contact. And then this is the penalty. Oh, it took quite a while for this penalty to be taken, because we were in the 39th minute somewhere there, as the penalty was, I know, before the final one, and this is now the 41st minute. So about 2 minutes for the penalty to be taken. Quite the time taken. He steps up to take the penalty, looks the goalkeeper in the eyes, goalkeeper jumping around. And now this is one thing that does somewhat annoy me. All right, penalty is hit, right? Now look at where he's standing. In fact, let's just do this. And then let's assume at this point he's already picked a spot, right? Look at where he's standing. Let's play it forward. Look at where he falls. Because even if it went that way, he would not have catch it. You just gotta go for it. You just gotta, whether you go the right way or not, there's no harm in just for the sake of it, because you never know. Yeah, that was a goal that came from misplaced pass from the Zambian player. All right, let's head on to the next chance transition that I'd like to talk about. All right, I like this. You see what he does? He stops, then he tricks the Zambian player. Look at what he does. Ooh, that's some really good close control. Just like that, he's done the Zambian player. And then good on him for following him all the way. That's what I can say. Look at that, he follows him. He's turned, fakes it, and then all you need is that slight bit of space to put the cross in, but he puts in a terrible cross. And then he just slices this. But fortunately enough, it lands on his teammate. All right, so this is a nice transition that I did like. Really lovely long ball that's played. Now, the Zambian, I don't know if it's because that the South African player played the skill, so the Zambian is like, okay, let's go even me to have something to show you. I like what he does here. Papa moves there. Then here, as we've noticed, he's all alone. No one has seen him. He's very far away, but just keep that. He's all alone. Number 17, I like what he does here. Kwa, kwa, kwa. He takes matters into his own hands and then he plays it. That's how you play it forward, not what that Zambian player they're trying to play, in the while it's trying to play it where the defender is standing. Just play it in the space. Just have good weight on the ball, and then magic happens. Gets the ball here. You have seen the Zambian player, he's demanding for it, and I think, he is offside. But now, this isn't the part that, whether it's offside or not, that's something else. But this part is the one that pains me the most. He gets the ball, right? And then it's mainly because of bad touches. The bad touches takes away, because he's in a very good opportunity. See? Well, he fakes it, right? But now, there, you see that? That touch is too much. And especially if you're in the box, because you're surrounded. Number 19 gets sold. But now you see, look at that. And it's because it's bouncing, but yeah, that touch is just too, especially when you're in the box, because when you're in the box, you have so many bodies around you, so your touches have to be so close. Because look at how he has to run towards it, and then you have seen number 15 all alone, has all the space in the world, along with him. And then you have seen how many players South African players are here. That's about 5 players trying to get the ball from one person. okay, not really trying to get the ball, but you've just seen the how it's become so sorry. How can I word this? How everyone's concentration is going towards stopping the player. And yeah, if you're going to commit that many people, you at least have to get something on it. But fortunately enough, someone does get something on it. As they're going to, you see the bad touch, and you see how he has to go and rush towards it. And good on this South African player for taking responsibility. Also, number 3 does very well because in case that pass was played, he goes down. At that point, he's probably trying to intercept. So these two, good sir, that's a tick. Very good. Very good taking the ball away from him. And then number 3, also very good anticipation in case that pass did go through. Very good defending from both players here. Zapa, he gets it away from him. They try to go for a penalty, but it's not. He gets the ball out, and yeah. But touch there, that's where the chance went away. And I'm sure he can definitely improve it because he's under 17, and the way he was able to wiggle his way, he's definitely going to get better at that. Let's head on to the next chart, or the next goal of the match. Which this one, it's one of those very avoidable goals. And once again, he has the ball, all the space in the world, right? Once again, he steps on the ball. He's baiting the Zambian player. But for me personally, I would rather he drops back and then he just commits to defending or just dropping back because it's very tiring and then you're just forcing the ball one way and you're encouraging, him to take that type of thing. And once again, you see that? You see what's here? Yeah, I know it's just one player, but once again, that gap has emerged. It really has. Because he had all the time in the space, and the back 4 and the rest of the team are just doing whatever they want to do. They really are. If you're going to have a high press, the whole team has to go. If you're going to drop back, the whole team has to drop back. It's like Ralph Ragnick said. When it comes to pressing, it's like a woman who's pregnant. It's either she's pregnant or not pregnant. Because what? Because you have to commit fully to it. And then this is just how can I say, terrible touch slash ball control. Look, he wants he gives the intention that he's going to kick it. He doesn't kick it. Instead, he decides to trap, and then look at that bounce. Boom. That's where all the problems started. That's where everything it just went wrong. He puts himself in a very terrible position. I wouldn't mind if he kicked it away. And I think maybe the pitch slash ground has to do something with it, but I'm not too sure there. He tries to pass it to his teammate, but it's so telegraphed. And then if he wanted, he could have actually turned and then used his back to protect the ball. Fortunately, no, he gets dispossessed. Number 18 quickly follows up. This is very good because other players would be rushed, try to shoot immediately. No, takes his time, takes it to the side, slots it into the back of the net. That's proper finishing there. You don't have to rush anything. You just have to use the options that are available to you. That's a really good goal. But it's come from not only him not being able to trap the ball, but once again, the Zambian players not committing to either defend closely as a unit or press higher up as a unit. So it leads to this type of problems. Yeah. Because if they were pressing high and they put pressure on the ball, that probably wouldn't happen or wouldn't happen as easy. And if they are very deep, that would not even be a problem. Would not. All right, so let's head on to the next chance. Actually, this is hold up play. Where's my mouse? Somewhere around here. Yeah, it's gonna take a slap bit of a while. 143. Okay, this is very far. So one thing I wanted to highlight is hold up play. All right, so he has the ball, right? Number 17. He gets it, plays it to okay. He tries to play it, gets not really intercepted but blocked. His hand is still up, but all right. So here, so there's a certain chance. I'm sure it's coming. All right, so that's very good. And then also the South African player Dilly Dell is on the ball for too long. At this point, number 17 is making that run. He puts this on himself. He could play something short to number 4. Then number 4 plays it to number 17. He could easily just play this ball into space and hope his player gets to it. What he does, he holds it for too long, and he could have played a simple ball to number 4, and number 4 could have supplied that ball. Sometimes it's not always the straightest route, but which one is less offers less resistance? Because here there's someone in front of him, but if he played it to number 4 and him, it would have been quicker. But he chose the quickest, not the one with least resistance. Yeah, I don't know. I might be making stuff up as I talk. All right, so number 17 gets the ball here. Now, this is the part that I'd like to talk about. Hold the play. See, he gets it right. His back is facing the goal. Hold. Yeah, it's a big touch, but it does invite something. And funny enough, if he was, he could have done whoop, could have played it into him there. But you know what? He does very well because you know what? Boom. You see the small touch? Okay, I have to let this play so that you can see the small touches because if I pause it, it won't look as nice. He takes a big touch, but I'm sure he identified that the space to play that big touch. They tried to get it from him, but no. Now this part, look at the small touches. Boom, boom, boom. And he's able to turn away. And this option is still on. He can pass it in between them. It is still on. But anyway, he chose safety. And unfortunately, or he could have even passed it to his teammate. That's right here. But he plays it right. And then look at what it just spoils the mood. I mean, all that, little touches, holding the ball up and just for his teammate to waste all of that. Couldn't even pull his hand up to say, I'm sorry. Anyway, I might have been a bit more petty on that part, but anyway, let's move on. So this is one somewhere here. Aha. This is under 17. He does look older for himself. Anyway, let me not get into that. Everyone is bundled up. Space. That is very dangerous. High line, and then anyway, high line, and you allow people to run into space can lead to problems. But fortunately enough, he does not play this ball well. Because look at where he plays it. Now this is the most frustrating part. I wouldn't mind if he kicked this ball, it went out for a throw-in. Because I'm not sure if he's a defender, midfielder, striker, but if he takes it down or just decides to trap it, he has his teammate here, number 1, and he can probably hold it up for a bit, run with it. But look at what he does. Boom, and then he plays it right back into the opponent's path. At least take it out for a throw-in or just kick it very farther away because you've just allowed them to reset, and that's a nice touch because it forces him. Not really forces him. He forces the Zambian player to turn. At that point, he's already going to cross him. He plays it to his teammate. And then here, this is one of the funniest goals you ever see. Because you start thinking, see that cross? The defend miscommunication. Keeper came out. He saw his defend up, so he went back in. He should have just committed to that. And then now, this is one of the funniest on goals you ever see. Not funny because it's embarrassing, but you just say, how? And this one, it's a complete accident. Look at this. And he's actually the captain. And then let's look at him. You see that arm? I think he's telling the keeper he should have just gone out for it. And he was still eyeing down the keeper for a bit. I'm sure he's just saying hard luck, hard luck, hard luck. But because the other angle of this on goal, you just be, You just say, what? You just be asking how. Because he does well to take responsibility. Oh my goodness me. What did I just do? Anyway, so this is one of the funniest on goals you ever see. Look at what happens here. Look. Boom. That one, my God. He does the right. He has the right initiative, but things just went bad. Go. That one. It's one of those. In football, we say freak accident. All right, then this is a free kick attempt, which is a very good one from the Zambians. You see, he's very far. He's got quite a good distance between him and the 18-yard line, and then he makes use of it because it goes over the wall. And that's a good save, but you see where it hits. Let me use the other tool. Boom. Right there. That's probably in that range. The keeper could definitely catch it. But if it was somewhere here, yeah, I know it's much more harder to score from here. But, that's how you're going to be the keeper. Yeah, it's a really good save from the keeper. Boom. Otherwise, interesting match to analyze. Just unfortunate that Zambia lost by so many goals because at this point in time, Zambia men's football is not doing too well. Uh, the senior team lost against Morocco, and they didn't do well in the Chan. I just hope that the Zambian under 17s will be able to get their flow back up and uh, just push. I just hope this is one of those one-off things that they can bounce back from. Otherwise, that's been my match analysis. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.